there's a bit of rugby going on, but there's actually probably more rugby going on here in Chicago. We've got a combine on Sunday for the rugby team. Basically, people come and try out.
That'd be class.
Tests and stuff. So we've got like 260 people coming, and they had to close off the applications after like 2 or 3 days of it being online. So like, there's a lot of rugby going on here, and I actually thought when I was in LA there was a lot as well, but it seems like there's more here.
I reckon you'll get some absolute monsters there as well. Like you'll get like D1 athletes that just didn't go to that next level.
Yeah, no, we will. We'll get some good players, some good athletes, and I'm sure out of this combine we'll have guys that will come into the Chicago Hounds rugby team or the Chicago Hounds academy. Like it's the way that it's going to work. It's a good opportunity for a lot of local players to come in and show what they've got. So looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. Sunday morning till Sunday afternoon it takes place. So it'll be eye opening, I'm sure.
That'd be class. I'll actually message you about that because I find that stuff so interesting. I love the NFL aspect of the combine. Some of it's a bit weird to me because like when they're doing like 40-yard dash times for like offensive linemen, and I'm like, there's never going to be a time in his career where he runs 40 yards dead flat out.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's like you just find some of these monster athletes that can do stuff that you don't believe is humanly possible.
No, they are ridiculous. Like, seen some of these guys in LA, and they're freaks. They're absolutely freaks. One of the guys, I can't remember his name. He's a big deal. Plays for Seattle football. He's like the main guy in that team. He used to train next to us on the Ashe field next to the rugby team trained. DK
Metcalf. The green, he has like green dyed hair.
Yeah, him. So he was like running about, come and talk to the boys after training, jump in his Mercedes C63, rip it away. Like it was unbelievable. But yeah, they're amazing athletes. We'll get a lot of good athletes. Probably guys that have never played rugby before, but they're athletically tuned up, so they'll pick it up quickly.
It's easier to teach a really good athlete to be a good rugby player than it is to teach a 5'8" good rugby player to be 6'5" and 210 pounds in lean muscle.
100%. Thinking.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I think that would be so cool. But talk to me about winning the MLR. Like, how was the team when you did that? Obviously, you had your DJ set, but like did you feel a bit of pressure with the DJ set more than the rugby, or?
100%. I was nervous, really nervous, man. So yeah, I mean, like, I injured was it the week before? I think it was the week before that. So the last regular game of the season.
Tore your bicep, did you know?
Tore my bicep tendon. So I was done, like, out for the season. And then, yeah, we had the final, got through the semi, beat Atlanta, had the final. Was it? Or did we play Atlanta in the final? I can't remember. No, we played Austin again in the semi, and then we played Atlanta in the final. And then, yeah, so I got a call 2 days before the game from the GM, and he said, "Look, do you want to DJ at the game, the halftime show? We'll set it all up, and we'll get you on, get the crowd going." And I said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I've got Glenn Bryce here, who is a good other Scotsman in the team who can MC. He's a really good MC." So I said, "Me and Brycey will do the halftime show together. We'll get the crowd pumped up." They were like, "Cool, you've got 15 minutes at halftime to get it right." So they got all the stadium set up, massive speakers. Like, we were on the big system, like, right around the stadium. And then the day before, they told us that Fat Man Scoop was coming.
Nice.
So, like, also MC, who, like, one of my favourite songs, "Be Faithful" by Fat Man Scoop. It's like, it's one of my favourites. Like, I'm pumped. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to perform with Fat Man Scoop. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So he rocks up. I've got all this planned out. Glenn's got all this planned out. This is what we're going to do. And Fat Man Scoop arrives an hour before kickoff, and I'm trying to talk him through, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, and, this is your role. This is what I see happening. And he's like, no, hold on a second here. We've got to change it. We've got to do it like this. You've got to play these songs. You've got to come in at this point, Glenn, and then you've got to mix into this song. And I'm like, look, Fat Man, that's not going to work. Like, I've planned this out over the last year. If we change it now, it's going to go tits up. So me and Glenn managed to convince Fat Man Scoop that he should do our performance and we should leave his performance to the side. And I think the team paid him 10 grand to be there and perform for 15 minutes in the halftime show. And Glenn Bryce and myself ended up stealing the show. Fat Man Scoop did about 3 words on the mic. Glenn Bryce was going for it, like, the whole time. It was class. Like, yeah, I didn't think anything like that would happen. And then, after that, we won the game. Steve Aoki was playing. The owner had paid him a lot of money to come and play for the fans after the game as a way of attracting people to the game. And I ended up opening up for his set before he came on stage as well, which was pretty epic. And then we went out, celebrated. The owner sent us to Vegas for 3 days the next day, and we celebrated in Vegas.
Class. Whereabouts did you stay in Vegas?
The Wynn Hotel.
Oh, that's the good one as well. That's like the celebrities one.
It was really nice. We got looked
Yeah, that's
after.
class. Oh, that sounds bad. I love the thought of you telling Fat Man's Group this is how you like the thought of you being like, no, I've got this, I've prepped. Like he must have walked away from that going, that's the easiest and most confusing 10 grand I've ever made.
I know. Oh, it would have been. Like, he literally flew in, jumped off the plane, came to the stadium, and then left before the game had finished to fly back to New York. But I still keep in touch with him now. Like, we message now and again. If he's playing gigs, like, he'll offer tickets. Do you want to come along? And, you know, he's a really good guy. Like, he's obviously like a big deal in the kind of rap R&B world. He's still out there performing. I don't know. He might be 55 years old, 60 years old now, but that song "Be Faithful" was one of my all-time favorites.
That's class. I love that you've got that name as well. Like, because like, I don't know how much you're looking to do with the DJing, whether it's just like a hobby or something like that. But it's like, see if you ever decide to push that. Like we were talking about off air, like having these people that just put you in touch with the right people get you so just as far as the talent does, type thing, if not further.
Yeah, it could be helpful, 100%. Getting to know people and trying to help them, and then maybe in return at some point they can help you. Like, you know, all has to be authentic. You know, obviously, you know, we all know those types of people that are
the climbers, yeah.
To get to know people. You know, like, it's like, I want you to give me this so that you can get me there. But that's never been the way I've approached it. It's always just try and speak to people and see if they resonate with you, and, you know, like, ask them, be genuine and learn about them. Maybe they've got something they can teach you, and they might be interested in stuff you're doing. And that's always been the way to go about it. I think, like, it can never be too.
You get found out like that as well. It's like, I like to say I love being in the room where I'm the least, like, as in, like, everybody else around me knows more, because there's no way you come out of that room worse. Because like you say, you just talk to that person about life, and they'll have that one sentence that tips something that you've never thought of that way before and stuff like that. And it's, like you say, just being genuine gets you so far with people as well.
Yeah, no, it's amazing the doors that can be opened through just being kind, polite, and showing a bit of interest in people. I'm somebody who is who I've been really lucky with a lot of the people that I've got to meet, and I think, you know, a lot of cool opportunities have come off the back of that. So, yeah, again, it's come back to the start. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and, you know, things seem to start happening in some way, I think.
That's class, and I couldn't have put it better myself. I think it's a really good attitude to have towards life and the soft skills of life that I call them. Right, now we're going to talk about the new team. We've spoken a lot about what's happened. We're now going to talk about what's happening and what will happen. You said it yourself, the job kind of came around for Chicago as a bit of a surprise out of nowhere. It was a bit of a late call up. How did those conversations come about? Because you were, like you said, you'd come back to Glasgow, you'd sort of done the America thing, and you're like, right, I'm just going to start working away now.
Yeah. So I was working at Glasgow in the commercial team at the Warriors, which was brilliant. Like, Al Kellock gave me a really good opportunity when I got back from LA to get back involved at the club, which was amazing. Absolutely loved my role, really enjoyed it. And it was a tough decision when this came about because, you know, I really loved being part of Glasgow again. Obviously not as a player or a coach, but in the back room. I was also coaching at Stirling Wolves in the Super Six. But yeah, I got the GM from LA got in touch with me and said that he'd been speaking to the coach here, Sam, at Chicago, and that they were looking for a forwards coach who'd maybe been out here in America and had sort of international experience, that had played club rugby in Europe or wherever. And my name was one of the ones that was kind of thrown into the hat. So yeah, I just got talking, and we spoke more about the opportunity and what was happening with the club, who was behind the club, where the stadium was going to be, and what it was going to look like. And yeah, it was tough to make the decision, but it all happened pretty quickly. And the guy that I dealt with on this end, James, who's the GM here, he was really good to deal with, and it all transpired quick, and I ended up committing to it. And within, I think, 2 weeks, I was out here after agreeing to come. So, really exciting opportunity. Like we've managed to assemble a great group of players here. Really good head coach, someone who's had a track record of doing really well in this competition in the MLR, and yeah, I think with the whole LA and Austin teams, obviously not competing in the competition this season, Chicago managed to pick up a lot of talent from those teams. So yeah, our job now is just to get these guys up and running, get them playing, give them everything they need to go out and be able to perform. And obviously pre-season at the moment, so there's a lot of hard work going in, getting the bodies conditioned for the season. But it's been really cool. You know, a lot of times I think in startup teams here in the MLR, it can be a little bit of a shit show in the sense that it's all brand new, so everything's a bit last minute. And it's actually been really smooth here. We've got the stadium set up. We train at the stadium. We've got an indoor training facility as well next to the stadium. We've got our own gym. You know, cars, apartments, all that type of things. All been sorted pretty quickly. So it's all been very well done.
Class. That sounds really good. And then, like you said, was it a tough decision to go into the coaching? Because you're doing coaching at Stirling and the Super Six setup. Was there a bit of a fear or like a trepidation about coaching at that level of the MLR, which maybe be conceived as a more higher standard of coaching because you're coaching full-time players now? You're not coaching guys that are doing rugby as a hobby as a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the first point about obviously getting into coaching, like I'd been coaching away in the background for years. Like every season that I played at Glasgow, I had a team that I coached, and I'd be there 2 times a week. And then when I was in LA, I made sure that when I went out there, there was going to be some available coaching opportunities. So I coached at UCLA for a year and a half, and I had a stint as the head coach at UCLA. So that was at that point, you know, I was a kind of 4 days a week I was working there. So it wasn't full time, but it wasn't far off full time. So I'd started to build a bit of experience around coaching full time and that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a step up. I retired from playing professional rugby 6 months ago, or just over, well, 8 months ago now. Like, and to get an opportunity to go and coach professionally that soon after you finish doesn't come about very often. And that was one of the reasons that I was really keen to take this role. I've got a reasonable amount of experience coaching, but not at this level. It's going to be a challenge. Like, I mean, I'm fortunate that I've got an experienced head coach. The guy who's the attack coach here, he was actually the head coach at UCLA when I went to coach there. So we've worked together a lot, and we've got a fantastic player group as well. Some really good experienced players who were probably like me in the last 2-3 years of my career, where I was a little bit more of a leader in the sense that, you know, you have an idea of the things that you have to implement in winning teams, and you help the coaches do that. You help take responsibility for little areas of the game so that it takes a little bit of strain off the coach. And we've got that here. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a challenge I'm looking forward to. I know that I'm going to learn a lot this year. It's going to help develop me as a person, but I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest.
It sounds like you are, and it sounds like you've got the right mindset as well. Interestingly, we've spoken about the draft or the combine you're sort of having at the weekend there. This won't be out by the time this is on, but hey, thank you for listening to this Clips episode on YouTube. And then if you want to hear the whole podcast, you can find them on Apple or Spotify, as well as the full video version on this YouTube channel, alongside all the other great content we produce on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you again on another Clips episode or in the full episode podcast. Tweet us, tag us, let us know what you thought. All the links are down in the description. It means the world that you guys come and support us, so thank you very much.